Yeah, and then there's the DEI press secretary telling you that the DEI vice president is the future of the party here. And so the future looks kind of dim for the Democrats here, but this is no shocker either. Kamala Harris, she's the original Haktua girl. That's the way she got where she is. And the party's going downhill if it's in her hands.
That was tough. That was harsh.
So there goes all the gains that you had started to make with women, and the only reason they were making those gains, guys. So in the minority communities, it's a little bit different, right? So for Latinos, I think Democrats took them for granted all these years, never really delivered much, just have the wrong messaging. Latinos mainly care about all the things that everybody else cares about: employment, jobs, wages, healthcare, etc. So I think Democrats have the wrong strategy. But on gender, the only reason why the Republicans are picking up a little bit of steam is because Joe Biden was 281 years old, and everybody was just going, I guess I can't vote for that guy. He can't walk or talk, right?
Joe Biden was obviously one of the worst presidents and presidential candidates that we have ever had in the history of America. But Kamala Harris is not far behind, and she possibly could be worse. But people like Ana Kasparian and a lot of others like Cenk Uygur and the rest of these guys, Bill Maher, they don't like the attacks that are coming from the right, that are coming from Republicans. Places like in this video, we have a Fox News host who calls Kamala Harris the original Haktua girl. And Ana Kasparian wasn't too fond of that. Let's get into this clip here from the Young Turks of Ana Kasparian reacting to this Fox News host talking about Kamala Harris in this way.
Yeah, and then there's the DEI press secretary telling you that the DEI vice president is the future of the party here. And so the future looks kind of dim for the Democrats here, but this is no shocker either. Kamala Harris, she's the original Haktua girl. That's the way she got where she is. And the party's going downhill if it's in her hands.
That was tough. That was harsh.
A regular on Fox Business, Alec Lace, made that lewd comment about presumptive Democratic nominee Kamala Harris, essentially referring to her as the original Haktua girl. Now, for those of you who haven't been following that meme and don't know what it's about, it kind of started after this interview went viral. Take a look.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh, you gotta give him that Haktua and spit on that thing. You get me?
Okay, so obviously he was making a reference to oral sex or Kamala Harris engaging in oral sex, even though he got some pushback from his host, his co-host on the show, Dagan McDowell, for being too harsh. He decided, I'm gonna go ahead and double down on Twitter, writing, did I go too far on Fox News calling Kamala Harris the OG Haktua girl, or am I right over the target? Now, similarly, by the way, last week, or this week, I should say.
Is that really him doubling down? He asked the question. Obviously, I do think it is him doubling down. I think he probably had that tweet in mind when he went on the show and said what he said. He was probably looking for a viral moment, looking to get his name out there and say something, and he probably knew as he was saying it, oh, I can't wait to post this clip on Twitter later, people are going to eat this up. So he probably is doubling down on it, but I don't think it's like a clear double down.
Alex Jones had his own commentary about Kamala Harris. I mean, it's interesting because I do think that if you look at her record, there are areas where they could target her on substance, but they seem to be unable to do that, and instead they're leaning into this kind of garbage.
Oh, we'll just have some type of event in Chicago in a few weeks, and we'll just choose who it's going to be. Though they're saying it's Kamala, and the Clintons and others have saluted her, Obama hasn't. And so that tells you that the fighting's still going on. And Hillary wouldn't have all these hundreds, I couldn't even keep track of them, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, about she had the popular vote and she's the smartest and she deserves it. So don't think they won't try to push Kamala out and put her in, or have Kamala, who's dumber than a box of rocks. She's basically a fleshlight. Put Hillary on as her VP, and boy, if she does that, she's gonna get JFK'd very, very fast.
Hey, don't scroll away. Come back. Because
sorry, buddy, I'm scrolling.
Referring to Kamala Harris as a fleshlight, that's what he did right there. Also called her dumb, which is hilarious from a guy.
Well, I don't think what Ana Kasparian is saying is that people are resorting to ad hominem attacks on Kamala Harris because they don't know how to attack her on substance. I think it's pretty easy to attack her on substance. I mean, the fruit is very as low hanging as it possibly can be. She's appointed the border czar, and one of the main problems, if not the main problem in America right now, is the immigration problem. I mean, just that right there, it's like she basically had one main job and she failed miserably. She didn't just not do anything to improve it. She worsened it to an extent that I don't know how much worse it could possibly be unless we just say it's completely open borders. Just come in and leave as you please. You know, so it's very easy to attack her on substance. It's just like, why, like, we don't take her seriously. Like, nobody takes her seriously enough to even have to attack her on substance, because she's just so unlikable. She very obviously got her spot in politics by, I don't know if it was performing acts or just because she's a brown woman or what it was, but it's not because she's some brilliant mind. I can tell you that. And that's very obvious to everybody.
Who accidentally sent over all of the data from his cell phone to the lawyer representing the Sandy Hook families. I mean, it's just, okay, you want to call her dumb? Fine. I mean, maybe look in the mirror for a second.
And accidentally showed the trans porn that he was watching on his phone to his audience. Oops.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair to him, he says everybody does that. Okay.
Do they?
Do they? Interesting. So, look, this kind of sexist attack against Kamala Harris is guaranteed to backfire. So there goes all the gains that you had started to make with women, and the only reason they were making those gains, guys. So in the minority communities, it's a little bit different, right? So for Latinos, I think Democrats took them for granted all these years, never really delivered much, just have the wrong messaging. Latinos mainly care about all the things that everybody else cares about: employment, jobs, wages, healthcare, etc. So I think Democrats have the wrong strategy. But on gender, the only reason why the Republicans are picking up a little bit of steam is because Joe Biden was 281 years old, and everybody was just going, I guess I can't vote for that guy. He can't walk or talk, right? So I think that was a mirage. But now, normally you have a female candidate, you're just naturally going to pick up some more women voters anyway. Plus, it reemphasizes abortion rights, reproductive rights, which is a huge advantage for Democrats. But now that you have a woman candidate, the number one advantage has become that Republicans, both in media and politics, can't help themselves. So they just keep saying the most sexist, misogynistic things over and over and over again. And what that's doing is it's reemphasizing to all the women in the country, they don't like you. And so they always think of you in sexual terms, never in business terms, never in professional terms, never in a respectful way.
Anybody ever talk about Hillary Clinton in a sexual way? Nobody ever does that. You trash on her for other things that she's done, actual evil things that she's done, actual incompetent things that she's done. Not in a sexual way. So what the hell is this guy talking about? I'm trying to rack my brain and think of some more examples, but Tulsi Gabbard is another one. Nobody talks about Tulsi Gabbard in a sexual way. It's only Kamala Harris. And I still, for the life of me, can't understand what the hell they mean by reproductive rights are going away, by Republicans are trying to take away reproductive rights. The only thing that has changed is, instead of it being the federal government that decides if you can or can't have an abortion, it's the states that decide now. If you live in a state that you don't like the abortion laws, leave the state. I think that's the beauty of America. I think everything should be left up to the states. I think that would be a great way of running things. Then we could all have our way. The irony is, the states that are extremely left-leaning would probably be empty. They would probably be completely empty, because you look at what's happening in California. Yeah, the population's pretty high, but there's a mass exodus from California. And the people who leave California, they go to Texas and they vote the same way that they voted in California. They're so brain dead. I think that the left-leaning states would be absolutely empty if that was the case. But yeah, I love that. I love that. I think, like I said, everything should be left up to the states. There's no lack of reproductive rights. And Donald Trump has said multiple times, to the dismay of his supporters, that he doesn't plan to move the abortion issue any further. He got what he wanted out of that. He wanted to leave it up to the states. It's now left up to the states, and he doesn't want to push it any further. That's it.
And you see it so overwhelmingly from the right wing that they're just going to give the election to the Democrats if they keep this up.
Right. What it messages to people overall is that, you're never going to appreciate someone who's a woman who's accomplished anything in her life. You're always going to see her as one thing and one thing only, and that's just a sexualized being, and that's again not going to be appealing. But people have moved on from that kind of mindset. The other thing I want to just quickly touch on is the Willie Brown accusations, because that has been.
If you enjoy content like this, then make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
And one of the more prominent lines of attacks against Kamala Harris. So just to give you a few examples of what I'm talking about, let's go to this Matt Walsh tweet where he says, Kamala Harris got her start in politics by sleeping with Willie Brown. She became vice president because Biden needed a non-white female on the ticket. Now she likely becomes the Democratic nominee for president because the guy at the top of the ticket has dementia. She's made a career out of begging for handouts from powerful men, a thoroughly unimpressive human being. Then you have Clay Travis saying that Democrats spent 8 years telling us Trump's.
Yeah, we get it. She's not a legitimate candidate. She lucked her way into this position or did some things to get there that are immoral or whatever. But yeah, we get the picture. I just totally disagree with the notion that Republicans or right-leaning people will never give women credit for being successful. I mean, the only person who we do this to, the only person who we clown on like this is Kamala Harris. That's it. We don't clown, like I said, we don't clown Tulsi Gabbard or anybody else, like Hillary Clinton for, sexual, like we don't make that sexual. How could you possibly even do that? But anyway, let me know in the comments what you think about Ana Kasparian's reaction to this Fox News host just destroying Kamala Harris, calling her the next or the original Hawk Tuah girl. Let me know in the comments what you think about this whole Young Turks, Ana Kasparian, and Cenk Uygur situation.